First thing you'll notice on the drums here is that I'm not using the live kick on almost any of the song. Down here I am, but that we'll get there. And most of the song actually ends here. The rest of this is a praise break that we mixed later. But I'm using a sample, and because this isn't the first song on the album that I did, I probably made that decision based on a whole other song. But let's play what the actual kick is and what I was thinking at the time. And just for routing purposes, this is going out the drum sub. There's nothing on the drum sub. So we're hearing this raw as I play it. So my first thought was try to get rid of some of the cymbal bleed on that. This I don't think is doing anything. Ultimately, I felt like this just felt kind of papery and weak and didn't really give me what I was hoping for out of it. It's better with the sub kick, the kick out mic. A lot of times kick outs are really tough, especially in live recordings. Again, I'm doing a lot here to get rid of the cymbal bleed on that. And the bottom line was I wanted something that hit a little harder and was punchier and had a tight low end to it. So I picked this, which is a John Yosh sample from the Yosh drum. He included it in the drum warehouse. So that is readily available. And it's also a kick I've used for a lot longer than that's been available. Great kick drum. This is where I ended up on that, was muting altogether the live kick. A lot of times I'll blend them together. I'll use the samples for what I need them for. If that's a little bit extra low end or a little bit of punch or a little bit of tick or something on it. In this case, they weren't gelling well together. I needed it to just be solid and crispy and clean and get through. So I ended up just using the sample on it. Not true for the snare, which there's two different snare drums on this one, the side snare and the main snare. The main snare here, or the side snare here, that the song starts with is this. So what I hear initially listening to a drum like that is, okay, why is it a side snare? Like, what are we looking for that's different than the main snare? So if I listen to the main snare, okay, so that's a pretty high, tight snare drum. And this is obviously a very low, kind of looking for some depth, right? So I used this Oxford drum gate on it. And I chose this because, again, trying to get rid of cymbal bleed. But this drum gate is a smart gate that can look specifically for the drums that you want to let it go through, if it's a kick or a snare or a tom, and you can train it to learn the right hits. So you can eliminate things in very tricky situations. The thing I love most about it, though, is this frequency dependent decay time. So you can see where this fundamental tone of the drum is, and we can let a quick decay time up here where the cymbals are and a long decay time down here where the drum is. And so that eliminates a lot of that, like, that comes through. I actually wanted more beef to it, and thankfully this is one of Yosh's newer samples, but I used this too. And this is literally like my go-to when I need this sound. This is the hit I use. It's called, what is it? Hard BR 10 snare wallet one shot. And it sounds like that. Kill the reverb. So it gives me a little bit of the tss on the top, which I felt like was important. I wanted some sizzle, some snares on that snare. And it also adds even more of that beef and the depth. And so together, I feel like we're maintaining the integrity of what that drum is supposed to be doing, and that's what I was looking for with that sample. I added some verb as well. Just a little bit to that, none of that, and some of this. But it's a wood room. Here, I'll crank it up for you. So that's what that's doing. And in context, so kick and snare together.
Listen, I hope you are enjoying this conversation with Jon Blass. I got something really quick that I want to show you though. Check this out.
Hey, this is Jon Blass. You may have seen that I just announced my gospel producers mixing class. My intent here is to let you into my thought process, my insights, how and why I do what I do every day to create the best art that I possibly can for clients that I respect so much. I get to work with some really incredible artists, and this is how I think about mixing and music and art and how I get to the finish line with these records. Click the link in my bio or scan the QR code to gain access to this class. Let's move straight forward to the overheads because we got to get the rest of the drum kit in here. So I've overhead left, right, pretty normal. I am EQing. This EQ literally comes on my template, ducking a lot at 400, and a tiny bit of a shelf that I sometimes kill, sometimes I keep. But basically, here, let's start with just that. All right, so I think that's pretty clear what that's doing. It's this. And that is just cleaning up some of that like roomy, tubby, mid-rangey, I don't know, takes away from the punch of it to me. I'm also doing a little bit of a dip, 3,300 hertz there or whatever. I don't know, something was poking out to me or was trying to make room for a vocal or something there. It was just a little too sharp there. So I pulled that back with a separate EQ just because it was quick and easy. And I'm compressing them, just trying to get more out of the kit overall. And so letting some of the bigger hits get bumped down a bit to allow the whole kit to come up in the cymbal range. Helps get some of the smaller things through. So I'm also using the hi-hat mic, but only on part of the song, where in that front half of the song where the hi-hat was really important, I wanted that up close. So I'm adding that in. So a lot of low end in this, and honestly, it was pretty bright to me as well. So I'm rolling off some of the top end and some of the bottom end. Sometimes that kind of thing feels counterintuitive to roll off the high end of a cymbal. For hi-hats especially, I don't necessarily need them to be super bright, and that can just get in the way of the other cymbals and vocals and things that I want to occupy the high end register. So I'm tenting that a little bit and keeping that down. I'm also, again, compressing to bring up the smaller hits because what I'm looking for there is the groove of the hi-hat. Let's knock down the snare, bleed a little bit, and keep the hi-hats up there. So that's what that's doing. Next, let's move straight to the toms. These are well-recorded toms, no replacement or anything on them, and they sound good, I think. So I use a plugin by McDSP called P606. It's just a parametric EQ. On this Tom 1, for instance, so without any EQ, so what we're getting rid of here, let's see, the best way to show this. Let me just turn this off. So if we turn that on, like that's that sound I'm getting rid of. And like I'm getting rid of all of it, right? Like at least a lot of it. And then what I'm trying to do is get some more attack out of this side. So you don't want to go too much on that because it can hurt a little bit, but it can also be really helpful to get some attack out of it. And then also try to get some more of the fundamental, like the boom of the tom, which is what's down here. So generally what I'm doing is adjusting the frequencies, the cues and the gains of 3 bands typically on any given tom, so that in general they have that kind of tick, that kind of boom, and not too much of that tubby, roomy thing. So here's like a tom fill with and without EQ. So let's hear, I think that's all the tracks in this beginning section. Let's hear that tom or that drum kit in this area.